G'day ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another video. So in today's video, behind me, we got the Budget SS, and it is getting a happy birthday today, and I'm freaking excited to work on it. So in our last video, we had a bit of an issue with this car where the alternator crapped out on us and left the car stranded when my partner was driving it. Ever since that, the car has been doing phenomenal. It's been about, I think, 4 weeks since that video. I've been driving it heaps, and we're Mickey Mouse. So in today's video, we're going to be doing a bit of a pretty up on this car, making it look cool. So I've got my machine here. I'm going to give it a nice cut and polish on the front here, just where the paint, I don't know if you can see it on camera, it's just oxidizing a little bit. Very common for the Sting Red color to do that. But I'm going to give it a nice cut, this door, the other side, and the rear bar. The most exciting thing we have is we have a coilover kit to go in the car as well. So we're going to drop it. And here's our coilover kit, proudly supplied by Maxpeedingrods. So I'll unpack that just in a minute. But they have sent their new T6 design coilovers, their upgraded coilovers. So they sent the whole kit for the VYSS, so I'm really excited to whack those in. So on the back of the R32, Maxpeedingrods have been kind enough to also send me some slimline weather shields. These are the tinted dark weather shields, so we're gonna whack them on as well. And we also have a flasher relay to put in, because when I drive it, the indicators, when you click them on, they'll flash and then stay on, and very common in these cars. So I just put a new flasher relay for it, just online. So we're gonna whack that in, and hopefully make this car look much better today. I've also got some silver wheel paint up on my shelves. The two front alloys are a bit faded, so you can see they're a bit shit. This one's probably the worst one. So I'm gonna give this, the two faded ones a nice lick of paint, and that should make the car look a lot nicer. But yeah, it's a happy birthday day for the SS. I do apologize if it's very windy, guys, because it's the weather's a bit all over the place at the moment. But the car's been doing great, guys. A lot of you have been asking me how it's been since the last video. Now, there was a lot of you in the last video, and I don't think our regular viewers that were a bit upset, cranky that the car was having issues. I'll tell me to sell it, get rid of it, all this stuff. And guys, like, when you love something, you work through the challenges just like a freaking man. If something gives you an issue, just get through it. Get through it. Don't give up and just sell it and then buy something reliable. Where's the fun in that? Okay guys, the first thing I'm going to do today is install the coilover kit. Currently we already have king springs in the back. I actually ordered king springs for this car and then got the coilover kit. So if anyone wants king springs for a VY, double SL, let me know. But yeah, so our coilover kit here is the T6 version of the Maxpeedingrods. They have the other versions, which are like the $450 yellow and the red ones, but these are the upgraded ones, so these are much better. So we have our rear springs here. We have our front McPherson style shocks, fully adjustable all round. We have our rear adjustable cups that will sit on the top of the rear springs, and we also have our rear shockers. So it's going to be nice and new, and hopefully these ride nice, because we do daily this car. So this is going to be a real test to see if these coilovers are up for the job. Now I do run these same style coilovers in my Skyline drift car, which is out the back, and they have been really, really good. I used to have the old Maxpeedingrods coilovers. They were pretty rough, and one of them started to leak after about a year. But the new ones, I've had them in for quite a while now, and they have been fantastic, and they ride a lot nicer. So it gives me a lot of hope that these are going to be much better for this application. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to jack the front up. I'm going to get the front wheels off, get it up in the air on stands, and then we'll start undoing the fronts. I'm going to leave them at the factory settings and see how the car sits, because we can always jack it up and then readjust the height later. And then we'll tackle the rears at the end. And I've got my spring compressors over there so we can pop the rears out. This does have airbags in it too, so I've got to get them out because it used to tow. I do have a car meet on tonight. We've got our monthly meet that we do up in Kebab Box in Campbellfield. So I'm going to hopefully make this car look nice and take it there and see a couple of you guys. Okay guys, so we're smashing right into it. I'm going to do this side first, just so I know what to do, and then I'll show you guys on the other side. Been pretty easy so far. You just got to take the bottom two bolts out, your top nut, and your ABS brake line out the way, and then you have your where'd I put it? There you go. The sway bar end link, and I've just got some new Super Pro bushes on these because I had these for roadworthy, but I only replaced the other side for roadworthy. But I've got these ones for this side now. Okay guys, so I'm back. I'm actually struggling a little bit here because it's a bit weird how these coilovers work. Sorry about the construction noise over in the background. So you got to bolt this top cap on. That slides up in the top there, and then you need to actually, once you're in the top of the car, the stud comes through, you got to put this on, and then that is your top like that, and then it threads onto the top. Now the only problem is the original bolt, or the original nut, is way too big. That means it's just going to sit in there. It's not actually going to, it's not actually going to be bolted in. That's a bit sketchy. So I'm gonna put them in, and hopefully I've got another nut to put on the top with this, they got like a wave washer that sort of sits in like in there, him on there, and then that stops it all moving around. They don't supply a spare set of 2 nuts to go onto that, so yeah, that's a bit sad. All right, I'm back. So that was a freaking mission. So I finally got it in. So I managed to find some more nuts lying around so I could use that proper top hat and washers. They got like a curve washer under them, so you want to be able to use all that just so it's nice and tight in the top. And I still got to tighten the sway bar down link, and that's probably the hardest bit of the whole thing, is lining up the sway bar link, because when you jack it up, because of how much lower it is, it just gets stuck because the sway bar can't go high, so you got to adjust that accordingly. But now I know how to do it, I can do the other side. So yeah, we'll just keep on keeping on. So coming to this side, what we're going to first do is unbolt our bottom 2 bolts on the McPherson strut, and then once we do that, we'll pop. You can already pop ABS line out. It's a bit hard with one hand. The brake line sort of just twists and pops out. We'll undo our sway bar link at the top here, and then you pull this rubber cap off, undo that nut with the gun. You sort of have to buzz it off the rattle gun, otherwise you just turn the shaft on the shock. So just get our 19 on there. Get a spanner. Now when you do these, hope to God they don't strip. That one's off, and that's your top hat. And the next one, it's a bit of a pain, you got to sort of put the socket on there first, even unless you have deep sockets. And that's the top one off, like that. And this is the cup washer I was telling you about. It sits on the inside. So once you get those 2 bottom bolts out, you literally just push that out the way. I like doing that because it can it moves the head of this head gets really close to the top of the strut, so at least with it out the way you can get your 17mm onto it. Very hard to do this with one hand, but get the 17 ratchet on it and then undo this bolt. I've already undone that one. Pop that sway bar link out, and it's almost ready to come out. Pop brake line and ABS line out already so they can stay to the side, and then we'll just slip our new coilover in, and Bob's your auntie. Nearly. There we go. Just needed some bloody persuasion. Oh, there she is. She's out. Alright, so we got coilover ready to go in. I've got the top hat on with our nut and little cup thing. So literally the exact same way of removal, the exact same way as refit, but what you want to do is you want to just jack the brake rotor up, because we're going to be a little bit lower. So if you actually put this next to our stock strut, you'll see the actual height difference. That's going to compress a lot more, but these won't compress as much, but they'll be a lot stiffer. So your desired height, you probably, these might come down to about here, and then obviously these will come down a little bit more, so you're going to get that probably inch or 2 of drop. But I'm not going to go too hectic on the drop in the front, just a little bit lower in the back, but that's about it. Okay, so slide him in. I'll just run a bolt through to locate it. I think it needs a couple of whack-a-moles to get in. All we have to do now is rotate our sway bar link thing in, and then you got to sort, oh god, can't let everything go everywhere. So what we're going to do is we're going to feed, because the good thing is this bottom rotates because it's a ball joint, so you can feed that in, rotate it, and then slide it into the coilover. Have a look at this, our sway bar link's actually bent. I don't know if you guys can see that, it's actually bent. I just got to jack this up into there, tighten the top down, Bob's your auntie. So there's our other side in, and we have the top bolted on as well. So now I just got to put our adjuster on and find there's like a little recess where our grub screw will go. So find the grub screw, find the recess, and it sort of slides on. And then we'll drop the front down and see how it is. Hopefully no knocks or anything in the front. And then start in the back, because I'm running out of time. It's only 3:30 already. Jesus. Bangs. Oh god, it's low. Oh my god, the bumper bar. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. I've got to jack it up and put it on some wood. It sits nice though. Oh, it's hectic. Jack it back up, and that jack's stuck under there now. All right, I've just turned the beast around so we can do the rears. But have a look at the front, it's low. So we've still got a bit of adjustment in it, so I'm gonna raise them up just a hair. It does look nice, but once the back's dropped, it's gonna be fucking low. All right guys, so onto the rear now. I've already done this side. This side was a piece of cake. It's gonna be pretty low, I think. As you can see, it already jacked. That side was really easy because there wasn't much pressure. Literally the spring almost fell out. It's got king springs, as you can see. So pretty much got king springs in there with our airbags. But this side's a little bit stiffer, I think, because we have the other side jacked up. It's put pressure on the sway bar. So I'm gonna undo the shock. So to undo the shock, you just come in your boot here and there's a 16mm nut. You buzz off. I just buzz it off with a rattle gun. If you can't buzz it off with a gun, just get a shifter on the top and a spanner at the bottom, so you can crack it without spinning that shaft. And I think it's a 21mm bolt at the bottom, which will buzz off. That shock should just pop out now. And now we get the spring out. So usually I just lever it up over the bump stop. On the other side, what I literally did was just lever it, but we might need to use the spring compressors on this side. So I've got spring compressors just in case. Yeah, because this one's got a bit of pressure on it. So I'm gonna wrestle this one and try to get it out. All right, spring's out. Actually, it wasn't too bad. All I just did was separate the axle with the scissor jack and just drew it down a bit more, and we're able to just pop that spring out with the airbag still in it. And that's the airbag connector there, which we don't really need anymore. But here's our spring ready to go in. So the adjuster goes at the top, and then there's our little rubber sort of thing that sits in the perch, and then the spring will sit over the bottom there, and that's the spring. Okay, so yeah, might be a bit fiddly. Get it in. Sides up so much more than the other side. The other side, the spring just fell in. All right, I'm gonna have to fiddle with this a little bit. Fiddled it in, so now I can just let the pressure off the jack now. And when you lower this in, you want to make sure it all contours and presses in correctly. You don't want it to go in on weird angles or anything. So now I just fitted the shock in. That's pretty easy. Just line up the stud. So what I do is I actually just sit it on the jack because there's not really any like stud to stick out to hold the shock shaft on. Put the bush and everything on. Slide it down like that. The top big washer, and then our nut over the top. And then once that catches some threads, I can bolt it into the bottom. So I've got to jack the whole axle up to line up the bottom. Put this bolt through it, and that's it. Done. Tighten the top and the bottom up, and that's it. That's the rear's done. Well guys, moment of truth. I've got some blocks of wood so I can get the jack out from under the diff. Might be some bangs when it settles. Does that go on the wood? Could go lower. Yeah, still got a bit of a wheel gap. We can go lower. The front's way too low. I've got to jack the front up and adjust the front. But yeah, the rear still probably have to settle a little bit. But nice. All right, so really we're just going to check to make sure that there's no knocks or any abnormal ride noises, or it's not sitting too low on one side than the other. So let's get it off this this wood here, and our biggest fear is actually scraping right here on the driveway. I think we're okay. Coming down as well. Couple of bumps here. Fronts feel good, no knocking from the fronts. Turn this corner, go nice. Ooh, feels good. It's a really nice 180 there. Yeah, it's feeling really good. I don't think I tightened that rear left shock the whole way, so it's a little bit on the knocky side, but I want to get out and have a look and make sure it's all well and see how it all sits. So it's sitting very nice. So we've established we're going to have to do probably an inch or a half inch in the back and raise it up about half inch in the front, and I think it'll be spot on. So I've got to tighten that shock just in the back here, because I remembered that I didn't tighten it the whole way. And I'm gonna put the weather shields on. So I'll put them on now. So thank you again to Maxpeedingrods for sending me out the weather shields. I didn't actually know they did a lot for commodores and stuff, like they do a lot of LS starters and that too. So yeah, when I saw these I said, yeah, hit us up. So I'm gonna chuck these on. So these are the slimline black ones. So I'll put a link in the description of where to get all of these, including the coilovers and the weather shields. And there'll be a link in my description of a discount code you guys can use and save yourself 10% off every order through Maxpeedingrods. I'm gonna say that one is the other side. Line it up. There we go. So we got the rear one on and the front. Looks sick. So I'm gonna do the other side and get polishing. All right, now I don't know if camera can tell, but I've already done the left side of the bonnet. You can probably see, it's really hard to tell on camera, but all the oxidization here. And then this is where I've hit it with the machine. It's actually like amazing. This, this paint hit this guard as well. Look at that, so shiny. We have about an hour before we have to leave. So I should be able to get this done, have some dinner, smash it out. All right, ladies and gents, it is a day later and everything went well at the meet. The meet was awesome. Heaps of people came out and got to take the VY out for its first drive on the coilovers, and it feels actually really good. I thought it was gonna be really bouncy, but actually it's not too bad. I've got the rear set the way I want it. I've got the front set the way I want it. I did that off camera. So I'll show you guys when I drop the car back on the ground. But just off camera, because you guys have seen me do this a million times, I've painted the alloys. They look really, really nice. If you're wondering what I use, just the sparkle silver wheel paint from VHT, which is this stuff. But the weather shield stayed on, they look lovely. All I have really left to do after I put the wheels on is put the flasher relay in and hopefully it fixes our indicators. I'll show you what they're actually doing now. So if we put the keys in ignition, flick your indicator on. See how they stick on? So that's the flasher relay, I'm pretty sure. So I've got my new one here that we're gonna chuck in and hopefully that fixes that issue. Again, all I can hear today is just beep beep in construction. We'll try and touch them as least as I can. I just did the old cardboard trick around the wheel and a little bit of overspray, but I just got it off with a bit of terps, but they look much better. Actually looks really nice there with the blue coilover in there, looks sick. All right guys, let's do a bit of a walk around now that we've dropped the car and it's looking amazing. I dropped the back an inch from what it was before, so I was just tucking over the tire. So I could go a bit lower, but I'm maxed out on the coils. The only way to go lower is to remove some of the locking collars, which I'm not really keen on. The front I raised up an inch, so instead of it being sacked, it's just on top of the tire now. So it's just a little bit lower in the back, and I reckon it's sitting perfect. So I'll come around to this side. Hopefully the wind's not too bad. Oh, it looks so nice. Do a bit of a walk around. I think it's sitting perfect. Oh, isn't it sexy? Let me just close this door. It's a bit dark in here, but I don't want to turn the lights on either because I'll flicker at the camera, but oh, it just looks so good. With the wheels painted and weather shields, they're nice and blended in, which is really cool. And yeah, I like the way it's sitting at the back. I wish I could go a little bit lower, but it's probably better. It doesn't scrape at all. Going down the driveway, which I'm really happy about. That's the biggest thing. I didn't want it to scrape everywhere because, you know, it is a daily. But the last thing to do is our flasher unit. I remember doing one on a VY years ago. I think it was a VZ when I was a mechanic. So from memory, there's a fuse box that's under the steering wheel. I think you pull this panel. Oh, that was easy. Yeah, there it is. Pull that panel off, it hinges down, and I think it's like top left. Let me get my light. So if you look in here, I think it's that top left one. It should say, it says Siemens. Flasher unit, yeah, perfect, cool. So you pull that one out. So that's our, see it says flasher unit. This is just on eBay for like 28 bucks. A direct replacement. Stick him in. It goes like that. Okay. And hopefully that fixes our indicators. If not, it might be a hazard switch. Because the hazards work, they click, they don't sit stuck on, it's just the indicator. So that's why I thought it might have been just a flasher. So has it fixed the issue? Usually they get stuck on right away. Perfect. That's all good. Hell yeah. Easy fix. I could have gone to the wreckers and probably just grabbed one and dacked it down my pants, but I wanted to put a brand new one in it. Look how good it looks. Oh, you know, let's give it a start up and a rev for you guys. Why not? Honestly, for $7,000, manual, leather interior, sting red, everything I've always wanted. In love with this car so much. Well, I think that's it for this episode. We've got the coilovers in, we've got the weather shields on, we've polished it up, we've made it nice and clean, painted the wheels, put a new flasher unit in it. I'm pretty happy with today. There's not too much more I want to do cosmetic, maybe a riff wing, I'm not too sure. But we need to paint the spoiler, paint the rear bar, paint the front bar, and I think this car's Mickey Mouse. Of course, the peeling door handles, but yeah, I think we're pretty much set. I might get some slotted rotors for it, stuff like that. Might hit up Protex brakes and yeah, but we need to get a cam kit or something for this car. I need to make it sound a bit rowdy, maybe get some headers for it, some nice pacemakers for it. And I think that's it. The Patrol I want to have horsepower out of, because this is LS swapped if you don't know. This already has heads and cam, but I want to have a charger on this one. But this one, I don't know, I just want it to be the NA screaming warrior. Well guys, I really hope you enjoyed this episode of putting the coilovers in and making this car a lot nicer. Thank you so much if you stuck around and watched the end of the video. I really appreciate it. I love this car so much. A massive thank you to Maxpeedingrods for sending me out those coilovers. Now, I don't think the T6s are available now, but the older style is, so I'll link them in the description. I've never run them, so I'm not too sure about how they go, but these new ones are pretty decent. So hopefully when they come out, I will let you guys know. Go order a set for your car. They're really budget friendly for a budget car like this. And go get yourself some weather shields as well. Use my discount to get 10% off. Go play with your project cars. If it's a Commodore, Falcon, a freaking toilet, just enjoy it. Thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye everybody.